Now in 1840, a man named John Howell was born in Wales. He immigrated to Plymouth in 1871. He lived at number 3 Nottingham Street. Now that's if you were coming north from Nanticoke on Main Street, right behind the number 2 hose company firehouse. Coal companies were booming at the time, and he knew they would need tools and supplies. So he started the Howell Mine Drill Company, which was located on Eno Street, which if you're coming south on Main Street from the Carry Ave Bridge, right across on the right side from the dollar store. One of the main shareholders was Daniel Spry. Pictured here with John Howell. He was a Civil War vet, real estate entrepreneur, druggist, and he owned a lot of land which there was coal on. So, his brother, Frederick Spry, he was a tinsmith. He specialized in making miner's lamps like this. He made this for the Lehigh Valley Railroad up in Scranton. They hired him as a superintendent. And then there was a man named Thomas Morgan. He was a coal miner. He worked on Gaylord Mine, which was where Washington Ave is today. He liked looking at tools and trying to make them easier to be used for the miners. And he designed and patented this drill here, but he couldn't make it. So he talked to John Howell, and John Howell agreed to manufacture it. You got a pipe here. There's one on the bottom that went into the floor of the mine. This is mounted on a screw. You would turn the wheel to raise the pike up into the ceiling. That stabilized the mounting point. You have the slots on the side here that you would put the drill itself onto and lock it in with these 2-inch nuts and tighten it there to secure it. The drill bit went into a threaded sleeve, and that was tightened to secure that. Now, they advertised this. We have an original advertisement here that it's adjustable, portable, easy to disassemble and carry to other portions of the mine. But then again, as long as you're not the one carrying it, it's easier to carry. Yeah. The orders increased dramatically at the factory for this. This became very popular. And that Howell Company, they made their own drill bits for the drill, which we have samples of over there. And the factory got so big that a fire eventually broke out. And they ended up moving to the corner of Academy Street in Maine, which is pictured here. If you traveled up Shawnee Ave here to the first stop sign and turn left, and takes you right down the Main Street on the corner there. It's today it's the Unigraphics building, and it's still there today, almost 125 years later. Now, Daniel Spry's son, Franklin, he went to Wyoming Seminary. It was a business college at the time. Once he graduated from there, he started out as an apprentice at the Howell factory, and he worked his way up to being president. But he was an innovator also, like Thomas Morgan. He could look at tools and say, well, this will be easier, that'll be easier. And he redesigned that drill. There's a picture here. It's called he called it the S drill. You removed the large pike on the bottom that went into the floor. You put a flat metal plate there with 4 spikes to go into the floor. You redid the post to make it lighter and easier to carry, and he added an electric motor. these became very popular and they sold around the world. You could drill 8 feet per minute up to 1,000 feet. Now they also made shovels. I got a sample of a hat over there, lamps, and also picks. Now, just like how you have a different type of shovel for different jobs, you also had different types of picks. So he decided to design this pick here. And what it is, here's a blow up of it here. You would squeeze the lever here, unlocking it.
Use your pointer.
Yeah. You would pull the pin out, and you would slide the head off this pick, and you would replace it with the one that you wanted to do. And then you would replace the pin in, relock it into place, and away you go. But you had to make sure that when you were swinging it, that pin was locked in, or you would be making a scene from a Three Stooges movie where the head comes off and hits Curly in the back of the head. And this is the original piece. I think it's dated 1902. In 1900, John Howell decided to sell his share of the company to Daniel Spry. So, Franklin was now president, and World War I was just beginning. Trench warfare was just beginning. They needed picks, shovels, and drills. So like all the other manufacturers in the country, Howell's or Spry's decided to jump in and support the Allies by supplying them with the tools to dig the trenches. Now at the end of the war, they received a prestigious award, which was at the time for meritorious service for all the tools they supplied. But this led to hard times for the company because while they were supplying the government and the war effort, the loyal customers, the local companies, coal companies, they're there waiting for their tools. They weren't getting them. So they went elsewhere. And at the end of the war, when the government contracts ran out, they were left with very few customers. So then electric and gas were becoming more popular. Coal was becoming less and less. Coal breakers began to close. In 1959, the Knox mine disaster hit, and that was pretty much shutting down all coal production in the Wyoming Valley. And eventually, that affected the Howell Mine Drilling Company, which the last we see, we have an ad here from 1966 Times Leader, and that shortly after that, the company closed. Now today, we all buy our tools from Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight. 6 months later, they're lying on the shelf in the corner of the garage, waiting for a replacement. But these tools, they're all made here in America, and a lot of them, they're still usable today, 100 years later. So that's about it. So. Hang out a little bit. You know, we got pizza coming. So you want to hang out a little bit.
Jeff, do you want to let them know that we're hoping to get a historical marker that we've applied for?
And also, we released recently. The state is going to start placing historical markers around the valley, or around the state, the large blue brass ones, and we applied this week for one for this factory to be placed down on Academy Street. So we're waiting for that to be accepted.
Did I hear something about it expanding to become an international company?
Yes.
Could you say something about it, or?
Well, it
That
pretty
wasn't
much,
part of the mates.
yeah, it pretty much ended after 1966.
Before that,
Before that, how far did it go?
Well, they were selling around the world.
Russia, Philippine Islands, United Kingdom.
All manufactured here, or they
Oh,
had
yeah, they were manufactured here. They placed their order here and,
distributed around the world?
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't overseas, what do they call it?
no, it wasn't made overseas, not like
What
today.
they call it when we send our
Yeah,
companies
not-
abroad,
not-
or
No, they
manufacturing
didn't do
abroad.
that. No, they were made here in Vincent.
I'm sitting over here nearby to the drill bits.
Yeah.
And I've touched them a little bit before. Pretty thin, and they're of the same material, they're not carbide or anything. They're the same material as the whole drill rod. So I could see how you could sharpen them and reuse them, but they're pretty lightweight. So I'm asking you, I'm gonna get to my question then. They look to me like they're only for drilling into the coal seam to put your charge in, your dynamite or your black powder or whatever.
Well, they have different tips on it. The drill, different drill bits have different tips for different jobs.
Did they have,
want.
were they able to do rock?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And they come as long as this table here.
Mhm.
We have drill bits as long as this table here. And they just kept putting extensions
So with
and
a different
extensions on.
material, made of a different material,
Right.
they could drill rock as well as a coal seam.
If you see the different tips
Yeah.
that are there represented,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Oh, there's, okay, I'm sorry.
Which were of a different
There's
material.
there's a rock.
And then when they started doing pneumatic, because the water process with the pneumatic drilling, which they also started manufacturing.
Later on.
Right.
Anything else?
Joe, could you hold up the drill tip display so everybody can see it? Check it out later if they'd like.
Yeah, these are very early representations because, and they would only be for coal.
Only for, they're
Yeah,
only for.
because that, they tried drilling for rock with that, it would just burn it right up.
How did they extend it? From the back, they just added additional
Yeah,
pieces?
like here, they had an end, hollow part on the end here. You put a pin through it.
Would take them off.
Duct tape.
They did in the old days.
Anything else? Okay, well, you know, just wanted to hang out and
Now for ice fishing.
pizza should be here soon. We got cookies and,
It does work.
we do have cookies and soda in the back.
It's actually
Did you